get to know about the indigenous principle of fluid duality as opposed to Western binary. What is indigenous fluid duality all about? How interrelation, interconnection, and interdependence of all components of the indigenous universe is dynamically opposed to Western mutual exclusivity in its search for balance, and how this principle of harmony which governs the indigenous universe is made up of opposing but complementary elements. Hello everyone, welcome to Indigenous Perspectives, Rethinking Our Thinking with Edward Steinman Muge. The indigenous principle of duality is more about the reconciliation of opposites in a harmonious whole in a way that opposes the Western binary of static poles. The dynamism of the opposing but complementary forces concerns the inherent connection of the male and female principles governing the universe. Stay tuned. Welcome back. Indigenous space is constructed and subscribed to fluid duality rather than Western binary in human observance of reality. Indigenous cosmovision does not end in contraries such as night and day, black and white, male and female, good and bad, rational and irrational, civilized and uncivilized, saved and damned, superior and inferior, among others, as Western cosmovision. The reality of indigenous space is couched in a harmonious manner where the interpenetration of opposing forces result in a unified whole. Knowing in indigenous context is diversified such that the single and exclusive system of comprehending the universe is not imposed on people who see and understand reality differently. Indigenous fluid duality is furthering indigenous cultures and beliefs on indigenous knowledge terms. The underlying logic of a binary is that of either or. That means only two opposing halves of reality are possible. Contraries define the world. In relative contrast, the ideas underlying indigenous duality recognize the complementary aspect of the same reality where none of the poles invalidates the other. But as Sylvia Marcus has it, and I quote, both are in constant mutual interaction, flowing into each other. Mutually exclusive categories are not part of the epistemic background of this worldview, unquote. Marcus holds that, and I quote, duality is the linking and othering of force that creates a coherent reference for indigenous people, the knitting thread that weaves together all apparent disparities, unquote. Apparent opposites form a synchronized whole where reality does not stand independently but mirrors each component part. The dichotomy of contraries is absorbed in the harmony in difference, where balance is sought. That is why it is not a contradiction among some indigenous groups like the Gmai of Plateau State for a man to be a woman, Gmai Gmat. These fluid duality must be understood within the context of the integral nature of the indigenous universe, where irreconcilable contraries negate the communal and holistic view of reality. Balance, connection, and harmony are all that indigenous universe seeks to realize. Stratification as defining Western cosmovision is reduced to the elasticity and flexibility found in the fluid duality of the indigenous universe. The interpenetration of the sacred and secular makes the immanence of spiritual realities within the human domain a regular occurrence. In such a context, the most sacred event occurs in the most human circumstance. The West and its binary mode of apprehension struggled to understand the indigenous cosmos in which the spiritual and profane are one and the same thing. The Chinese forces of yin, passive and feminine, and yang, active and masculine, from the Chinese belief system of Taoism or Taoism help us understand indigenous, contrary yet complementary forces that form a dynamic harmony which helps in understanding reality as a whole. For indigenous people, balance is the goal of harmony of the opposing yet complementary and interpenetrating principles. The interplay of the two forces make up what the Chinese call qi, that vital energy that governs the universe. Thanks for joining Ancestral Heritage TV. Until next time, always remember that your identity is formed in your culture. Follow Ancestral Heritage TV at ancestral_heritage TV on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and share this video. Goodbye.